Since I participated in an online summit earlier this year, I found myself more and more curious about the role of the nervous system in our everyday experiences and the perceptions that we have about ourselves, about one another, and about the world in general. I keep noticing the conditions under which I am processing, interpreting, and reacting to the world. And I'm reflecting on the pressures that we're under in modern life that really take us out of connection and into a sense of internal disarray. And I've been thinking about how we might reverse that process and move back in the other direction as well. The event has really become a defining experience for me this year. It brought me face to face with what I can only describe as an underlying sense of panic, fear, and urgency in people that I hadn't really fully appreciated seems to actually be fueling so much of the world right now in general. And I've been wanting to find gentle ways to do something about this trend. I'd been invited to share thoughts about slowing down and using creative play to come home to ourselves and connect with our unique, gentle rhythm in life from an inside-out place of serenity and rest. The conversation was only 30 minutes long, but I was absolutely exhausted when it finished. It was a Zoom call, so I wasn't actually in the same physical location as the participants, but I still absorbed a lot of this anxious energy from the questions and the obvious stress driving people's search for help and support and solutions. There was an obvious desire for quick fixes and tools and hacks, things to do in order to address the feelings and the needs underpinning the anxious dissatisfaction that a lot of people clearly were going through and experiencing. My call to get beneath the noise in a kind of slower, more rhythmic sense was not what people wanted to hear, because there was a strong, mobilized survival state sweeping through that kind of proverbial digital room, maybe fueled by the conditions, fear of missing out, often a key driving factor. Maybe the pace at which guests were kind of coming in and out of the Zoom room, and they were firing loads of information and their own must-use tools and a whistle-stop tour of their swear-by philosophy for success. I got off the call and thought, whoa, what has just happened? But it demonstrated something that I think most of us encounter in different ways and at different levels all the time in the modern world. The pace at which the world comes at us, the implicit stories about our self-worth, the things we should be doing in order to be more of what we believe we ought to be, the impossible task of keeping up with every demand, pressure and expectation that we feel placed on us, that we place on ourselves. We spend so much time in reactive stress response, mobilized to fight with or hide from life. We're in go, go, go mode until we hit a wall and then disconnect. Burnout is rife. So many people talk about the fact it feels like they're just going through the motions, disengaged from their emotions and the joy they used to feel about many things. I'm going to take a punt and put it out there that I'm not sure that the way we've designed things is doing us all that much good as individuals, as a society, as human beings. That's why we're reading Anchored by Deb Dana in the Haven during our autumn season. This is how it's described. Discover your body's neural pathways to calmness, safety and connection. An intense conversation, a spat with a partner, or even an obnoxious tweet. These situations aren't life or death, yet we often react as if they are. That's because our bodies treat most perceived threats the same way. Yet one approach has proven to be incredibly effective in training our nervous system to stop overreacting and start responding to the world with greater safety and ease. Polyvagal theory. In Anchored, expert teacher Deb Dana shares a down-to-earth presentation of polyvagal theory, then brings the science to life with practical everyday ways to transform your relationship with your body. Using field-tested techniques, Dana helps you master the skills to become more aware of your nervous system moment to moment and change the way you respond to the great and small challenges of life. Through guided imagery, meditation, self-inquiry and more, Anchored offers a practical user's manual for moving from a place of fear and panic into a grounded space of balance and confidence. So I want to finish this video by sharing a sound anchor that I've created ahead of our first live book club session. I'm going to be making a bunch of these as we go along, so that reading this book is not just a cognitive exercise in yet more information hoarding and learning and knowledge gathering, but it's actually a practical embodiment of these ideas and techniques. So I'd love to invite you to join us as we explore this transformational and practical book over the next few months. You'll find the link in the description, or just head over to the-haven.co. So this exploration is about the vagal break, which is introduced in the second chapter of the book. Imagine you're riding downhill on a pedal bike. Your hand is gripping the brake on the handlebar, so the bike is moving very slowly. When you're ready to speed up, you gently release the brake. As you do this, a message is sent along the cable and the wheels begin to spin more freely. When you want to slow down, you can gently squeeze the brake again and the wheels move more slowly. You feel safe and in charge of regulating your speed without losing control of the bike. As you become more comfortable and familiar with the process, your cautiousness turns into confidence, and you choose moments to release the brake and experience joyful exhilaration. Confidence and connection to this feeling is underpinned by your safety in the knowledge that you can squeeze the brake again to slow the bike down at any moment. The vagal brake is part of the nervous system's regulatory function. It sends electrical signals along the ventral pathways on the vagus nerve, which underpin the social engagement system that gives us a sense of connection and safety in everyday life. When these pathways are active, we are open to connecting, and they work with the more primitive survival systems of sympathetic mobilization and dorsal shutdown to ensure we are moving through life in a state of physical regulation and mental and emotional well-being. When these ventral pathways are inactive, the sympathetic and dorsal systems function as core survival defenses. The vagal brake is the ventral vagal circuit between the brain and the heart, keeping it regulated and calm when the ventral pathways are active. When those pathways turn off, like releasing the brake on the bike, the heart rate increases. The vagal brake works to bring the right amount of energy required to navigate moment to moment successfully. As the vagal brake releases a bit, the energy in the sympathetic system is felt more strongly, mobilizing and motivating us to act. And then, as the vagal brake re-engages, there is a return to feeling less of the mobilizing energy of the sympathetic system. The vagal brake also regulates the respiratory rhythms, engaging a constant pattern of release and re-engagement with every breath cycle. The vagal brake offers a slight release on each inhalation, and the heart rate speeds up just a bit, and then, on the exhalation, the vagal brake re-engages and the heart rate slows. This exploration is called Using Your Vagal Brake, and is from Chapter 2 of Anchored by Deb Dana. The exploration can be done either seated or standing. Start by imagining you have one foot in ventral vagal regulation and your other foot in sympathetic mobilization. You can place one foot in front of the other, or your feet can be side by side. Keep both feet on the ground and begin to shift your weight between your feet, rocking slightly from one to the other. Follow your breath cycle. Inhale and rock toward the foot in sympathetic. Then exhale and shift your weight back to the foot in ventral. Move through several breath cycles and get a sense of the rhythm of your vagal brake, releasing and re-engaging. As the vagal brake begins to release, we have access to a range of responses, including feeling engaged, joyful, excited, passionate, playful, attentive, alert, and watchful, all while still under the regulation of the ventral vagal system. Without the vagal brake, we lose our anchor in safety and connection and move into the protective states of fight and flight. Experiment with finding the edges of release. Shift your weight so that you are almost fully tipped into sympathetic mobilization. Feel what happens as you begin to lose your balance, and then bring yourself back to feeling the solid ground under the foot that's anchored in ventral. Now, shift in the direction of having your weight fully on the foot that's anchored in ventral, while the foot in sympathetic just lightly touches the ground. Feel what happens here. Experiment with the ways your vagal brake allows you to mobilize energy and then helps you return to calm. Feel how the vagal brake holds the boundary between ventral safety and regulation and a sympathetic survival response. Now that you have a sense of your vagal brake, you can begin to play with shifting the balance between energy and calm. Practice staying anchored in safety and feeling mobilized. Move between rest and action. Explore the full range of experiences that emerge as you release and re-engage your vagal brake. Imagine commonly occurring experiences in which you need to either be energized or calm, and use your vagal brake to successfully meet the moment. Bring to mind a moment when you need more energy and release your brake to meet that need. Then bring to mind a moment when you are wanting to feel more at ease and re-engage your brake. You can remember moments and play with releasing and re-engaging your vagal brake to imagine how the right amount of energy might have changed the experience. Once you gain confidence in your ability to stay anchored, you can intentionally adjust the balance toward calm when you feel a rise in anxiety, or toward more energy when you need to take action.